you hear me?
Hey y'all. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
How
How
are
does
you?
this how does this mic sound? I got a different headset.
It sounds good.
Oh, good.
Sounds all right.
Good
Yeah.
deal.
Hey Nathan.
Um,
Been asked a couple of shares here.
you're a little you're a little quieter.
Me or Golan?
Goal on.
How about now? Is that better?
And yeah, you're still kind of quiet. It's not like it was the other times, really. Sorry, I'm not trying to. I just don't want
No.
you to go back and listen to it, and you're like, gosh, I'm a lot quieter.
How does it sound now? I turned it up a hair.
I can hear you.
Maybe that helped.
No.
No.
Just kind of sound like you're further away. Like
Yeah,
How about now?
I don't know.
that's better.
That's better.
Okay.
Aileen is here. She's in
Okay.
the
Good.
she's in the chat anyway. I don't know how to invite anybody up.
I hadn't heard from Vic today. Is he coming or not? Do you know?
He's right there.
Hey guys.
Oh, he's already in. Good. Great.
Hey Aileen. Hey Vic.
He's coming.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, Sally,
Hey.
Nathan,
Am I coming
Aileen,
in this
Golden
wrong?
on.
Like, cause I'm always waiting and you guys are always in there. I'm always, wondering what I'm supposed to be doing to get in.
No, I have to invite you in. Um.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
signal
I'm here.
problems.
Oh no.
Who's
Yeah,
watching the news in the
it's
background?
not
I hear
good.
a TV. No, I don't.
That's better.
That was me. I'll
Oh.
shut it off.
I'm going to give everybody a few minutes and see if more show up because there were a lot of people on YouTube that said they were going to be here tonight. Okay, adjust the mic a little bit more. Did that help?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. That other one I had was hurting my ears. It was too hard on my ears.
Mine make my ears itch.
Yeah, I think that's like an allergy to the latex that they use in them.
Oh. Probably.
How was everybody's day today while we're waiting?
The only other thing I was going to say, I'm sorry, I know it's a different mic, but you got buzz feedback, like subwoofer feedback when you start to speak. I'm sorry.
Not good. Let me go get the
I
other
can
one
hear
because I
really
want
good in
everybody
my.
to be able to hear me well. Hang on. I'll be
All
right
right.
back. Y'all
Oh, yeah.
I don't want
entertain
to
while
be.
I do this.
I just don't want her to talk for 30 minutes and then she goes back and listens to it on YouTube and she's like, oh my gosh. I gotta say
No,
something because
I can hear that
I
little
would be
hum
so
in there.
frustrated. Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear
I
that
could hear it
hum
too.
really bad in my headphones.
Yeah, me too. I could hear her better, but there was a hum.
And
Man, I got
it just would be
AirPods and I love them.
frustrating.
Probably just need to buy a good gaming set. How's that now?
That's better.
Okay.
No
Yeah, I probably
feedback.
just need to buy a
That's
gaming
great.
one that's more expensive.
I'm about to just get you one.
Oh, no. How's everybody doing, though?
Good.
Good.
Good deal. Let's see who else coming in. Oh, following the ways back. I saw Tammy. Hey, everybody. How's it going? We're going to continue on in Matthew 24 tonight. Hey, Tammy. I think I remember where. I think we left off with this Astropi, the cell tower thing. Let's see. I'll be acting up now. The next one is real interesting. For those that hadn't been here, just to give a quick rundown, we're going through Matthew 24 and looking at the old Greek meaning and the new translated into a new Greek meaning to see how the two compare, and looking at how this possibly fits in for us today versus what they went through in the first century. I take everything and break it down and analyze it word by word. I analyze the sentence, put the words in a translator, see what all I get in about 6 different translators. Then I look up the etymology of the word to find out how it was in the ancient times. And then they'll also give you the modern, what it's been changed to and used for today. And then I break all this down and kind of look at it and try to see how it affects us today and how the scriptures, how we can use them to learn more about what Jesus would have said to us today. Because I think there's a message hidden in the New Testament that is specifically for us in the modern day time. And you'll see that tonight as I go through these slides. We were on, last time we finished up Matthew 24:7, talking about how the Astrope is what they call the cell tower communication system today. And it's the Greek word that was used in that back in the past. But tonight we're going to start with 28. And what we have is, for wherever the dead body may be, there the eagles will be gathered. And when we look at Luke 17:37, you can also see it. And answering, they said to him, "Where, Lord?" And he said to them, "Where the body is," or the soma in Greek, "is there the eagles will be gathered together." And we know that what he was talking about was the body can mean either a soma can be either a corpse or a live body, either one. And it's like it's very interesting that he's like making out like this is a bad thing, but yet Paul says in 1 Corinthians 12:12, "For just as the body or the soma is one, yet it has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so too is Christ." And we've covered already about the Christ being the warning he was warning about is anybody calling him the Christ. Now that goes back to Matthew 24:5, and we'd have to go back through the whole thing to show you that. But it's like, if you haven't watched the previous videos or been here on the previous nights, you can go back to YouTube and watch the lives we did then. And then I have a 6-hour video covering the whole chapter of Matthew 24. So he's warning about this body, and that's where the eagles are going to be. And it's really, we have the Catholic eagle in the churches, and then we also have the Orthodox eagles. And we have the body of Christ hanging on the cross. So I think that's probably what he was warning about. Okay. And in 29 it says in English, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give up her light, and the stars shall fall from the heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Okay, what I got when I analyzed it has a little bit of difference. It's like EU, theos or God, from the social construct, meta, of those days, the Helios or sun gets dark, and the moon or Selene does not give her shimmering, and the stars, Asteries, which is a form of pharmacy pickup today, fall from the sky vault, and AI's power shakes the sky vault or heaven. You'll notice that the word AI is in there, and I don't believe they translated it in this one. Let me double check. Well, 3-5. Have to look for it. They translate it as the. Now, when I showed in the other verse where it says, unless those days be shortened, no flesh would survive those days, they did not translate it in that one. And what I read up on it was because they didn't have an equivalent meaning that fit in that position for AI. But I believe there's a future message with these AI term in the New Testament that's for us today, because it's talking about the EU God from the social construct meta, which we have today. We have the metaverse, and the Helios or the sun gets dark, and the moon does not give its shimmering light. And then this word for stars, asters, is a form of pharmacy pickup today. So I think there's like hidden messages within these texts for us today. Theos in the UK leading religion and society is a think tank, too. This is an actual thing that's going on. With our ideas and content reaching media outlets with a combination circulation of 160 million in the past 5 years. They're shaping the hearts and minds and opinions of formers about the role of faith in contemporary society by means of a high-quality research, events, and media commentary. We provide credible information and gracious Christian voice to our mainstream public conversations. The Economist calls us an organization that demands attention, and Julia Bagnini, the influential atheist philosopher, has said, Theos provides a rare proof that theology can be interesting and relevant, even perhaps especially for those that do not believe. To learn more, check us out at social media, twitter.com, Theos Think Tank. And you can also find them on Facebook at Theos Think Tank .co.uk. So this is an actual thing that I found in Matthew 24 that's going on right now. The EU Theos, and it's interesting that I even showed EU before Theos. I don't know. That's so small. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Let me blow it up and see that first word up there at the top on the Greek. It actually has Theos there. And it's really strange that they actually have this going on right now from a social construct. It's like, this stuff blew my mind when I started looking this up. I'll move it back over so you can see the whole. There's the article. Yeah, let me see if I can blow that up. There's the article about it that I found. And see how they have the infinity and the stars? Wish I could get these larger for y'all to see them better. Okay, when I looked at verse 30, our English has, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in the heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Now, one thing I take away from this verse is, why would everybody be mourning if that's Jesus? I don't think that, and he's talking in like he's in the third person. I don't think that's Jesus that he's talking about being the Son of Man. Because we think about it, Jesus is the Son of the Father. And just laying the two words side by side, that can't be the same person. And everybody being upset and crying, everybody would be rejoicing if that was Jesus coming back. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Well, I got a big shock when I looked at this one in future, like in the modern Greek. This is what I got. And then shall appear the sign or a jab point. I'm going to use that word instead of the you know what, because I don't want to get, kicked off here. Of the Son of Man, and in the sky vault, and it cuts all AI. AI bring forth AI of the earth, and they are baked. And they look at the Son of Man. He comes from the cloud computer system, the Nephilim, the meta of the sky vault power, and manifest a deity to many. So basically what it's saying is that from the meta and the sky vault, there's going to be a manifested deity through AI that's going to appear and give a big jab to everybody. And Nephilim is the word for the NIH computer cloud that runs computer thing for all medical stuff. Okay. And the word I got for is that they'll be cut, smited, baked. And it says like dynamite's power, like a dynamite type thing. And doxa in modern is like the manifestation of a deity to a person, is where I get that from, that there's going to be somebody manifesting. Okay. And here's your sky cloud computing and how it works. It's like it goes up to the sky vault to the satellite dish and comes back down, and that's what they have on all your computers. That makes your computer, you're in a cloud, basically is what they call it. There it is. I knew I had a better picture of that somewhere. This is Nephilim today. Same word. It's how your computers are pinged and gone through all the internet stuff to where they go different places, and it's called sky computing, but this Nephilim is what they call it today. Even the same word that's in there. I just can't believe with all these words not lining up. There's no way I could make this happen in a million years if I tried to. It's like, and I don't think that there's anybody on this earth that's smart enough to make this come out like this, where it's actually things that are going on right now, and it makes sense when you look at the sentence in modern. This is what I think they're doing. Because it says to manifest the deity to many people. And they said all eyes will see like lightning. I mean, the word for lightning in Greek is per, and the per cable is what brings your internet computer into the home, unless you're on Wi-Fi. And it's in the Revelation that it's puts to the sky. The PUTS is a satellite dish that's up in the sky that sends your satellite signals down. Yeah, it's the same thing, Tracy, as Project Bluebeam. But it's on our screens. It's like you're looking at, this could actually happen on your phones or your computers, if that makes sense. And if you want to see these slides real clear, you can go watch that 6-hour video I did on it, because then you can actually sit there and look at the slide a lot better and see all the words, you know. But this is just kind of, I'm doing this so people could ask questions, because it was such a long video, and I kept getting so many questions on YouTube. And I thought, well, I'll open it up, where people can come up after I speak, and then they can ask different questions if they have them. This was an article in Forbes about the future of computing, super cloud, and sky computing. They're actually planning on doing even more. This is like the Project Bluebeam, where you get multiple clouds and hybrid clouds, and it's like the science is just off the wall right now. I mean, I don't know how it moves so fast. It's like it just kind of like exploded on us. I feel like we're in a sci-fi nightmare. Because it says in Revelation 13:15, I think this is how this plays in, and it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak, and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be unalived. And I think that this may actually happen through computing, just because of the terminology. Okay, because verse 31, in English we've got, and he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds and from one end of heaven to the other. Okay, well, in 30, when I looked at it in the modern, I got, and he sends them, his angels, his meta great war trumpet phones, and attaches them. His elect or chosen ones from the four winds by the farthest sky vault, even the farthest bounds. So he's going to literally take and connect them with phones. The word for, let me find it up here so I can make sure I tell you right. Phone is sound in the Greek. And the salapinjos, I can't say that right, is actually a war trumpet. Okay. And here's your mobile computing cloud on your phone. And you got your metaverse on your phone. And you got sound on your phone. And see, here's the word for phone right here. Right there in the verse. And sound is literally, if you were to say the word, it is phone, pronounced phone. That's where we get our word for telephones. Then we have in Revelation 19:17 through 18, and I saw one messenger standing on the sun, and he cried out in a loud and numerous voice, saying to all the birds that fly in the mid-heaven, come and gather together for the supper of the great God, to eat the flesh of the sovereigns, and the flesh of the commanders, and the flesh of the strong ones, and the flesh of the horses, and those who sit on them, and the flesh of all people, free and slave, both small and great. Well, when you look at that word for cried in a loud voice, the word is phone in Greek. Pretty amazing. Okay, and he said, in 32, now learn the parable of the fig tree. When its branch is yet tender, and it putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. Well, when you think about parable, we've not been really taught right. It's like, from the fig tree, learn the parable. That means to compare it side by side, or learn the comparison. When a branch is produced, born soft, and puts forth leaves, that the summer or heat is near. And we have an unusual thing that's happened in the world with the fig tree. Near Bale, in Naples, Italy, a fig tree has literally just appeared out of nowhere, growing upside down. And it is producing fruit. Which I'm like, I mean, what are the odds of that? This is the ancient ruins of the modern city of Balaclava in Italy. And those that hadn't watched my geography things, I believe that that area is where Sodom and Gomorrah was, because Pompeii has carved in the wall Sodom and Gomorrah on it. And off the coastline, they found the city of Bay, and it is submerged, and Gomorrah means submerged. And I believe all this happened in Italy, not the Middle East. I think they moved everything. I'm going through that in a new video I'm putting out. Real solid proof, because when John said that they were at the sheep gate, with the 5 porches, when the man was wanting to be put down into the water, to be healed. Well, the word in Greek is probiotica, okay, or probioticanus. It depends on whether you're looking at the Latin or the Greek. Well, pro means in front of, and Vatica means Vatica. And in the first century, the only place that there was a Vatica was in Rome. And right in front of that Vatica was a healing temple with a pool where people were put into the water to be healed. And there was flowing water around it, and it had 5 porticos on it. I mean, there's just so much proof that it happened there and not in the Middle East, but people just can't see it. It's like they've just been blinded. Yeah, and I want to mention also about that. Do not let this decrease your faith in Jesus, because it's His words that have showed me all this stuff. So, He is very real, and He loves every one of us. And He wants us to have the truth, and He wants it to set us free. Because we'll know, when we know the truth, it sets us free. Okay, the next verse was pretty simple. It was like, so likewise ye shall not see all these things, and know that it is the near at the doors. And I got this also, you will know when you see all these things, He is near, or it is near. I got pretty much the same thing they did. Let's see. 34. He said, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass until all these things be fulfilled. This is a big one, because what I got in is, in the end, I say to you, no, not so, until these pass, this generation happens. And I don't think that has to do with right then what the people that were living right then. Because amen in Greek in the first century meant at the end or in the end, and it was used at the end of plays, and just like we do at the movies when it says the end, when you get to the end of the movie and there's the credits and it says the end at the very end of the movie, then you see the credits. When they did a play, they always said amen at the end of the play, and that meant the play was over. Everybody knew it was over. So it means at the end, basically. So I don't think he was talking about the generation that was standing there in front of him. And then verse 35, it says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. And then I got, the heaven and the earth expire or pass away, not my words. No, these do not pass away. So I got basically the same thing. And verse 36, but of that day and of that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels in heaven, but my Father only. And I got concerning that day and the hour no one knows, not the angels of heaven, no, not of these, only my Father. And I think that's because his Father is not the same Father as the one in the Old Testament. And he's not on this calendar that we're on here on earth. This one's interesting. In Matthew 24:37, but as the days of Noe, Noe, were, so also shall be the coming of the Son of Man be. Okay, and I got in the English for the modern thing, just as of the AI days of Noe, so will also be the coming of the Son of Man. And who do we have right now speaking all the time about all the AI stuff, but Harari, no, spelled exactly the same way. I'm sorry, I got screen here, dang it. What happened? Oh, this is a disaster. My screen messed up. I'll just read it over here and I'll fix that in a minute. But we have Yavari no Hari, which means the stream rest or repose of the master of the manor. And no means rest or repose. And this is what he was telling at the World Economic Forum. Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have this soul or spirit and nobody knows what's happening inside of them and they have free will, that's over. In other words, we're not to have any kind of soul or anything according to him. And we don't have any free will either. So it's really peculiar they use the same word spelled exactly the same way he spells it. I don't think that's a coincidence. Hang on a minute, I'm going to try to fix the screen. You want to see if anybody wants to come up and talk, guys, while I'm doing that?
I'll check the guests, yeah. If anybody wants to come up and talk, you can. I'll approve it if you hit the request.
Well, something I can see here. 2 words. A lot of medical and a lot of computers or phones. That was just, I kept hearing that over and over again. And you think today, what are the 2 biggest topics that we have going on? Pharmaceuticals and smartphones. I mean, there's your sign. I guess.
I can't believe there's that much stuff that correlates to what we're going through right now. I mean, that's just not a coincidence.
Hello, Tim.
Hey,
Hi,
can you guys?
Tim.
I
Hi,
can hear you. Yeah. Hey.
nice to finally meet you guys. I've been listening to your
Hey,
YouTube channel, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, I've been I guess I would say I've been eager to talk to you guys, but I wanted to mention something about the AI thing. So I'm the guy on YouTube that's always saying the true Almighty the Father is life, as Jesus said, and the way to eternal life is through Him. Um, So that had me thinking that that the devil must be deaf then, and I started looking into it, and the word God actually came from the word Goth, or Gott, but it's pronounced Goth here. And Gothic people, they make their skin pale, and they wear black to symbolize death. You know, like at a funeral. Religious people, they actually pray towards hell, like they look down. Muslims, Christians, and even the Egyptians would fold their arms like as if they're in a casket. So all these people are secretly worshiping death. And if you haven't noticed that, what technology does to plants, it like people will have like a tree growing next to a box on the side of their house. You know, the little electrical box, or you know, the reader or whatever.
Right.
And what it does, if most people would notice that nothing grows on the side that's too close to that box, too close to technology. And you know, the Messiah, I'm calling him Messiah. Oh my goodness, Barabbas. He told us that, you know, he compared us to trees all the time, or plants, and told us to bear good fruit. And technology does the same thing to us as well. And that's why I keep saying that death is actually the Satan, and it always says that he's in the airwaves as well. And that's what he's going to do in the end times. That's what the mark of the beast is, the mixing of man and machine, iron and clay, Daniel's prophecy. And man is made of dust, and machine is is AI. It's you know what I'm saying? Electricity, technology.
It sure is a lot of it mentioned in the modern Greek, in that's in the text.
Yeah, it's all lining up basically.
And Harari also said, I was going to read this too, I forgot. You have a small elite that pushes things in its own interest, even if it doesn't benefit the vast majority of the population. This has happened to man many times previously in history, and it's probably going to happen again. One of the biggest dangers in the planet today is a technological utopia, because probably from the elite it will work. If bad comes to worse, when the flood comes, the scientists build a Noah's Ark for the elite, leaving the rest to drown. The rest of the people, and then the rest of the people, and then the rest of the ecosystem. But they are likely to be able to construct this technology of Noah's Ark, which is probably what most of the elite are counting on. History begins when humans invented gods, and will be the end of when humans become gods. And that's from that same guy from the World Economic Forum. Just weird his name is spelled exactly the same as that verse, too.
I know, it's so strange.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be coincidental.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm having to read on real tiny print because these tablets and stuff is real hard for me. But when I'm on my computer doing my videos, I have the big ones, you know, that I can read off of my big screen. But I hadn't devised a plan yet on how to do this, because when I route it to my big screen TV, then the sound goes over there. So I'm trying to figure all that out. I'm just not real tech savvy, as y'all can tell.
Artis, I would like to ask you something, if you'd
Sure.
be so kind. I was watching that Matthew video, and hopefully I recall this correct. I recall you mentioned Tempest, and you were showing the cell towers, and you were talking about light, sunlight, sun rising. Just before, like what you were talking about tonight, I recall it was in that video. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
About
the
the Tempest
Astrape,
thing?
they're
Astrape,
creating
yeah.
they're creating something totally bizarre with that. I don't even know if I understand it. It has to do with the like the internet and merging all the technologies together. It's wild. It's almost
Yeah,
like the Project Bluebeam and all that stuff.
yeah. Because I was thinking, like, when I hit that part, the thought occurred hologram.
That's what I'm thinking. They're going to project this even, not even, it won't even be on your phone. Sometimes it'll be in the sky,
Yeah.
and you'll be seeing it like, like it's real, but it's not real. It's going to be hard to tell. And it's right now, you can't really trust what your eyes see on the internet either. Because I'm an artist and I've noticed that the AI art, there's some major flaws with it. Like they never get the number of fingers right. The eyes are always peculiar looking when you zoom in on them. There's just something really amiss on all that.
I did want to get your thoughts on when he says that he's gonna give, what is it? It's like breath. You was your translation, or life to the image of the beast,
Right.
and deceive all,
Yep.
or even maybe the very elect. I might be referring to the verse wrong. I'm not sure if it even says that last part.
And the beast will be able to speak and talk and everybody will see it. And that's what we have with the AI Jesus online.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking to him and he's answering. It's like, and people are going for it. It's insane. I don't get it. I just
Well,
don't get it.
with that, I feel like that matches my theory with this being all about life and death. Because if you haven't noticed, in all through the scriptures, uh, Satan, Yahweh, the devil, whatever you want to call him, he can't give life to anything. If no one's noticed, only Jesus is the one that actually raised the dead. No one has done it, and
Right.
I think that's the reason why even the very elect may be deceived, because that is the real, that work is the real difference between the fake and the real. And he's going to deceive many by giving life to that beast. You see what I'm saying? Because that's only something that I don't like using the word holy, you know, because that's not.
Officially, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's sacred, and the only thing sacred in the whole world is life. You kill someone, you committed, that's you breaking the sacred law, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, and that's the reason why Yahweh tricked Moses by saying, this is holy ground, or the word holy is supposed to be synonymous with something sacred, and only life is that. There's nothing else in the world that is sacred.
Right. And
So I think that's
I
what
have a
he's deceptive.
theory.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I've told you before in here. I have a theory that the whole Old Testament is an algorithm, and it's like Isaiah said, he's telling the end from the beginning of things not yet done. And we have two life-size Noah arks that have been built that are fully functional right now in
Hmm.
the world. One's
Do you
in
think they plan on?
one's
Well,
in
of course they plan
Kentucky
on using it.
here, and then one is in Europe.
Interesting. Didn't Yahweh say he'll never flood the earth again, though?
If I read it correct in Hebrew, it's a future tense. I shall like in the future.
Mm.
After this, I don't know. It read really weird when I read it in Hebrew, and I was like, is this really happened or is it going to happen? I could never decide.
Yeah, because if that's true, because I realized that the Bible is actually a book to glorify Yahweh and not to make you find the real, to find life or Jesus.
That's
Um,
right.
the whole narrative is for Him. I would think that they would quote the false Christ words in the movies to mock Him, but I'm realizing it's because there's a false Christ and they're actually worshiping that one. Giving
Right.
credence to Him.
Well,
Oh
Nephilim in
yeah.
Hebrew, in modern Hebrew, is aborting or aborting ones are abortionist in modern Hebrew,
Hmm.
which I found was weird.
That's what they did though too, so it would make sense. It's great that you see this, Tim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I only brought that last point up because I thought it would be weird that because Yahweh, if He says something, some kind of prophecy, it's in His best interest to make it come true in order to gain worship. So I'm just trying to figure out the end game of our enemies, basically the government, etc. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, because I don't do all the translations and stuff, but you do, and instead of learning it myself. I'd rather use you as a tool right now. I'm sorry. But anyway, I heard in the 1517, like Geneva Bible or something like that, the verse, and I know it's Paul's writing. I know he's a false apostle and all that, but he says that we don't battle against flesh and blood, but we battle against powers and principalities. But in the old Bible, it says we battle against powers and principalities in our government.
I've heard that too. I really did. I saw a guy talking about that on a video about the
Yeah.
Geneva Bible saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
I just wanted to
interesting,
bring
isn't
that
it?
up, yeah, because that's the they. We speak about they a lot, but no one's really identifying them. It's the government.
Yeah, somebody asked me, who's they? When I say that, it's like, I think we're all
They,
kind of like skittish to
church and
say it.
state. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
church and state mixed together. That's what it is. But yeah, I'm glad you guys
They
see it too. I'm
definitely.
glad to see people online doing this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, I was just saying they definitely utilize both with the church and the state. I mean, they're using them together.
Yeah,
They know
it's
a lot
really.
of people believe some. No. Go ahead.
Oh, I guess I got a lot to share with you guys, huh? I was just gonna say, what's crazy is that we've come from a lot of people have come from atheism and then they go to probably Christianity, like myself, and I've even went into a couple of other places, and until I've gotten here, but I realized that the people that was actually closest to what Barabbas preached were the people that weren't religious at all, that we consider atheists.
Goes to it, questioning everything. I mean, we
That
definitely
and
believe that there's a father, but I get what you're saying because I came to this conclusion on a very very similar path.
yeah,
So because I was atheist, I thought science had all these answers to things, and I delved into so many other things I wish I hadn't even wasted my time with. But I had to learn all those things to get to the point where I'm at now.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Um,
sometimes we wander
Just part of the
around,
journey.
but we're looking for truth, and it's like Father's gonna grab and say, okay, kind of look this way and then look that way, and then he'll
mhm.
lead you. It's like all this came to me little parts. If it had all hit me at once, I probably would have just lost it.
True, that's true. Well, life is in all creatures, and so he can actually tell when you're actually being genuine about your search or about your journey. So I think he reveals himself to people that's genuine. And the only reason why I
Makes
said that
sense.
atheists have why they're close or closest to what Barabbas teached, is because they're going off of their conscience that's given to us by our Father, right? And that's what they consider right and wrong. Whether they do right and wrong or not, do what's right and practice what they preach. But they know that it's all based off your conscience, because not everyone's going to have access to a Bible, and the Father would be wrong to not give them access to the truth. But if we go against our own senses and our own conscience, then we're literally going against the Father, because that's what He put in us,
Hmm.
for us to be able to tell from, Adam and Eve didn't have someone to make them a toothbrush. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have someone to tell them what's right and wrong, or like a pastor and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't need that. And someone asked me, they said, well, what about all the people before there was a Bible and before Jesus came? Is the Father not righteous for that? For not having a way for them to find? And I said, everyone that's born into this world already have a conscience, and they choose evil every single time, because you don't want to get slapped in your face. So if you're going to slap someone in their face, you choosing this, like you're doing this to yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't
I
think
do.
Father does it to anybody. I think that they make the choice.
Yeah, and I believe that they were righteous, but even before Jesus came, that they would not have died. Then because Jesus, there's a passage where he says those who follow who listen hear these words and do them, they will never taste death. So that had me wondering. But sorry, I felt like I spoke a lot. I don't want to take over the show and
Oh,
change
that's
the.
fine. You're
No,
doing
no, you're
good.
fine. You speak in things that we pretty much agree with. So
That's
it's
exactly
nice
why
to
I'm
hear
doing
it.
this, is so people have a chance to come up and talk, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm finally awake at this time because I'm in Florida and I work overnight. So I always miss y'all, but I'm like one of the first ones to hear your or to catch you on your YouTube upload. So it's kind of perfect timing right now. So
Oh,
I'm glad I got to
thanks.
see you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you got to come too tonight. That's great.
Yeah. But I'll mute and if you guys don't mind, I like to chime in here and there, but I'll go on mute and do a lot of
That's
listening right
fine.
now.
That's fine. Does
Okay.
anybody else
I
have
mean,
any questions? They just request to come up. We'll get you up here to talk.
I think there's anybody new that I see that I'm able to invite up, but oh, someone's requesting. Let's see. Okay,
I had a question.
go
Something,
ahead.
while you were reading through that, going on, the trumpet sound. I'm thinking, what could this be? Is this something we're actually going to hear? I was thinking of these new government alerts they forced us to put on our phones.
I know.
Well, I was somewhere around a lot of people when this alert, one of these first test alerts came out. And, everybody had their phones. The sound, everybody's phones started going off at the same time with that siren sound type thing off the phones. It was a strange experience, but I wonder maybe there could be a connection there.
Could be. Because, they talk in Revelation the sea of glass. And then in Isaiah talks about a tiny UFO type thing that's as small as a man's hand. And I think the two are related. I think it could be the phones.
We have a guest up now. The WIIN. Hello.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Good evening.
How are you? I just so happened to
Great.
be scrolling tonight, and I come across your live, and I'm just hearing this information that I definitely agree with, and I just wanted to pop up and tell you all thanks for sharing what you're sharing. It's very helpful,
Oh,
Well, we
thank you.
appreciate
and I
that.
do appreciate your teachings and things like that. And what I did was I went in on your profile artist, and what I did was I just screenshot the YouTube address. So
Okay.
I'm gonna just try and tap in just so I can get a little more information and things like that because I've been doing some studying here for the last I'd say like well I'd say over the last 10 years, but the last 4 years I've been getting a lot of good insight. And I run across one of the things you said about the cloud computing and the sky computing, and that was something I was definitely leaning in heavy on with integrated into with the Bible studies and things like that. So I definitely appreciate that as well.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
that Matthew 24 video is like 6 hours long plus, and I know it's a lot to get through, but it's very helpful information to understand what we're talking about.
Well, definitely. Yes, I do. I enjoy lectures from time to time.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you've been looking at everything. Did you have any questions about anything that maybe we could answer, or I don't know?
Thus far, not at the moment. Um, I basically understand a lot of the things that you all are talking about, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to tap in here and there. And what I'll do is when I get some questions, which I'm sure will arise soon enough, I'll just chime back in and and come up on the panels and ask my questions and things like that because I'm going to be tapping in here more often
That's
now
great.
that I
Yeah, we'll
found you
be
That's
guys.
here.
great. We enjoy having people come up and talk.
Alrighty, definitely. Yeah, I just wanted to pop in and say that I don't really have much to speak on. I just love to sit back and listen,
Oh,
take my
well, we
notes if I grab
appreciate it.
anything.
Thank you.
Definitely. I'm glad to found you guys.
You
but that's
probably
all I
like a
have.
lot of the videos on the site if you like this one.
Yes, I'll go ahead and tap in because I'm always looking for some good info to go ahead and add to my notes and things like that. And I pull out my notes and things and some to add to the collection of things that I already have so far. But I definitely agree with a lot of the different things that you all are speaking of right now. So I'm going to continue to tap in. I
We have a
appreciate that.
Discord channel too for people that are new. And we also, Eileen has put together a PDF of all my research that you can get um, sent to you if you want to have it too.
Alrighty.
Yeah, she did. I don't know how she did it, but she did an excellent job. It's awesome.
Definitely. I appreciate that. I would definitely appreciate to be able to look into some of those things.
Yeah, that's her in the chat. If you message her, she can get you a
Hmm.
copy of the PDF. Have it
Okay.
Dropbox on there to you on the computer.
She can give you a link to the Discord too if you want to come into
Hmm.
there and you want to help with the research or at least see all the slides. Everything's in the Discord group, all the research is.
Definitely. Definitely. I'll definitely do that. Let me shoot you. I'm going to go ahead and shoot her a follow now. And then I'll just follow up from there. But definitely, that was all I had for tonight, just because I'm sort of brand new in. So I don't want to take up too much time. But I definitely appreciate your panel here. And I will definitely be following up here in the future.
Oh, thank you. It's same for you, Tim. If you want to get that too, just message Eileen.
I had another question.
Sure.
Uh, Artist, when you were talking about sky computing and clouds, were you referring to physical clouds? Somehow they're going to use, or did I miss something there?
They use
Perhaps I missed
satellites.
something.
Now, when you look at Revelation, you can really see it because it says it puts this to the heaven. Well, the satellite discs are called the puts in the sky. And then the cable is the cable that runs the internet. So you can really see it when you look at it that direction. And the word for image
Okay.
in Revelation is icon. And the sword is a Mac Air, like a computer. It all lines up. It's wild.
I just wondered, maybe that's the reason they're doing these chemtrails everywhere, too. I know
It may be a part of it.
people, they're using those to power this, to enhance the power of this or something. I mean, I don't know.
The chemtrails are
I'm not.
actually in there in Revelation, and it lists the same things that they're using. And I was shocked. I was like, because it says that like when everything's darkened, it talks about that. It talks about talks about aluminum and several other components of stuff that they're actually using. I'll have to find that slide and give it to you. I don't know what file it's in right now.
I have another guest coming up. I accepted him. Is he gonna come up? It says he's here. I don't see him. Humbly Smitty. Gosh, what is my live messing up? Oh my gosh. Why isn't he coming up?
I don't know.
It's trying to. Dang. Oh, there he is. Hello, Smitty. Humbum Smitty. Oh, well, he dropped. Okay, well. Okay.
I was gonna ask for your opinions on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to mention with this hurricane swirling around in the southeast, a lot of people who have satellite or even just using cell phone signal are kind of going to be struggling with connectivity here. Oh, go ahead, Tim.
No, I'm in Florida right now, actually. And the winds are pretty strong actually right now, but so far so good. But I did want to get your opinion on John or First John 1-4 and John 1-4 to see if you guys get the same thing that I get out of those two verses.
Are you talking about the beginning of John? John 1:1 to 1:4?
Yeah.
I think that is the real Genesis, the real beginning. I think John is telling the truth. I think he's telling us the real beginning.
Well, that's the main reason why I think Yahweh was a liar in the beginning, because I can't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because in the beginning it says that Yahweh is doing this and that. But in John it says that the Word did this and that.
Right.
So
Right.
I wonder, but I still have questions. I'll try to stay open-minded because that's kind of what got me here.
Yeah. Same.
So
Hello, Smitty again.
oh, he's back. Go ahead, Smitty.
Yeah, if you want to talk. Hello. You're unmuted. I don't know.
But I
If
still
you got
have
a
questions.
mic. Oh, go ahead. Smitty, are you there? Hello?
Hello? Is he there?
He talked for like a second. I don't know. Hello. No. Well, so much for that. But anyways, about John and hey, going on. There's he's talking about in the beginning of John. It says the word, but what was the translation for the 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 word?
Okay, logos is like, it's like the, logical word. It's like the word understood type thing. And then the word they used for the word of God in the Greek Septuagint was rhema. So that doesn't even line up with them saying that he was the word of God, because it's not the same word that was used.
Which verse are you talking about?
John
The
1
first.
Beginning of
1.
John. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
when
it's
you look,
using a different word for word.
yeah, then they use in the Septuagint, because logos is where we got the word logic from. It's more of a logical word, like an understanding
Mm-hmm.
type thing of the word, and then rhema meant just like a single word. And I think they did that on purpose. They translated it like that on purpose, just to try to
Right.
make you
Like,
think that it linked back to the Old Testament, but
But
it's
it
not
would
even the
help you.
same word.
Tim, it would help you, Tim, with what you've been saying already, because in the beginning was the logic and reasoning. So
Mm-hmm.
you've even said that yourself earlier without even knowing what we just said now. But yeah, I think that there was logic and reasoning in the beginning. Now, it seems like people wanted to choose evil over and over again, but I think that it was there from the Genesis or the
Oh
beginning.
yeah, definitely. If not, then the whole system of belief is broken. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
he has to be righteous throughout the whole thing. You know. So so yeah, so there's a couple of ways you can read that verse. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, which comes from the word death. So it could be that the Word was with Satan before he fell. You see what I'm saying? And because Satan is supposed to be the most crafty of the field, a creator God, it would make sense that he created the physical world. Now this is just a way of reading it, of course. So they were tag teaming it. The Satan had the ability to create not only things, but well, well, things, because he made Adam, but then he put life's breath inside of Adam. You see what I'm saying? And Jesus, or the Father, he's able to give life to the things that Satan created. You see what I'm saying? So
I
therefore, don't
do.
worship the material world. Worship the one that can give you life, that can make the things come alive. That's one way of reading
Yeah,
it.
I think, and I agree with what JP is saying, that Yahweh only formed things. I think the divine source and the life source, it comes from Father.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So, and then there's First John, chapter 1, 1 through 4, and it says that which we have seen from the beginning. So, the topic is about the thing that's from the beginning of time, whatever existed from the beginning of time. And they're saying that which we have seen from the beginning, which we have held with our hands, and that we've learned from, that we heard speak, and that our hands are handled, something like that. And then it kind of gives you what they're talking about, and it says concerning the word of. And every version I see, it says word of life, not word of God.
Wait, which version? What were you reading out of
Every
it? Says
version, the
Oh, right.
KJV, the
Oh, right,
ESV,
right.
I have it just says scriptures on the Bible that I have.
That's okay, yeah.
But, and then in the regular John, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, which I have a problem with that second part, the Word was God, if we're reading it as if God was death or Satan. But I'm going to continue. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the same was in the beginning. They basically they flip it. Basically, and God was the Word, basically. And then verse 3 is all came to be through Him.
Right.
Speaking of the Word. And then in verse 4, it tells you how they were together in verse 1. Because, when it says in the beginning they were together, how were they together? One was on the left, one was on the right, one was on top, one was on the bottom, one was on. You see what I'm saying? How were they standing? And in verse 4, I feel like it explains that. It says, in Him, inside of the Word, was life. And it says life. It don't say God. It says life instead of God. And I feel like either that was an error, or they had to leave that there so that we have a chance, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's how they were together. And that's why the other way of reading that is, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Father, and the Word was the Father. And that makes sense with everything that Barabbas said, because he said, I and my Father are one, right? And all came to be through them. And then, and so on and so on. So there's two ways of reading it. And that one makes more sense to me, the second one. But still, because they could just put the word God there like they always do and lie. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
But I know that the Creator is, or that the Father is life. I mean, Jesus said it. He said,
I like the life comparison.
The breath of life, the book of life. It's
right.
Those things belong to life. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like if you say it's the breath of Tim, that's Tim's breath, or the car of Tim, that's Tim's car. So it was the breath of life, is life's breath. But yeah, sorry. I can go on. Trust me. Like I have to stop myself a lot.
No, it's okay. I like that
you have made comparisons. It's obvious you've thought about it a lot, and it's great to hear somebody that can come in and say, "Hey, I came here from this spot, and I agree with you, and this is what I've researched and I've thought about, and I like listening to it."
That's like that word where he says he's the bread of life. In Greek,
Yeah.
that one is artos. And artos is Latin for the creator of all things, everything. It's like a creator of art, of music, of everything that surrounds us.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Yahweh stopped them from going to the tree of life so that they could have eternal life. You see what I'm saying? And Jesus said that He's the root, He's the vine to the Father, which is life. It's just ever since I found out that life, and I learned it from a Hebrew Israelite, but he was a genuine seeking person. He was just finding his way, But that it all makes sense ever since I learned that life is the true Almighty. Everything falls in line. There's no guessing. You know what I'm saying? I can just walk in and understand things, and then everything I learn is just getting more proof, of.
Right.
So, but as when I was a Christian or a Rasta or a Hebrew Israelite, there was things that kept shaking my world, and I couldn't ignore them. But this, nothing shakes me anymore, and it's been years, you know.
I have people in the group that don't think that Jesus was the Father, but I do. I think they're one and the same.
Artist.
Maybe there's some people that still don't know that there's two of them. But
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
it's as
There's a
clear
lot
as
of people
day.
hadn't seen that, and it takes some time to see that one.
And
Well, he
and
said,
Artist.
"Oh,
and
go ahead."
for me
May I butt
personally,
in?
go ahead, JP.
I just wanted to ask Artist. I fail to recall where or when you were talking about it, but you were saying you read somewhere that Jesus was translated as the Father. I believe it was in the Latin somewhere.
No, in the old manuscripts, it doesn't even say only begotten Son. It says only begotten Theos, or God, divine. They didn't even put the word Son in there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the one. Thank you.
Gosh, I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something to you, Tim, and I totally
Dang
forgot
it,
what I was going to say.
it's gonna come back to you.
I
I mean,
hope
I'll
it
still
will.
have something to say on that same topic, so it might come back to you, as I say it. But it's logical, Jesus said that they're gonna see and not see. They'll have eyes and not see, and they have ears and not hear. And these people, they don't respond to logic. They don't respond to reason. They have I have my own definition for brainwashing, and it's to go against the common sense that life gave all of us, and it's called common sense because we have all five of them in common as humans and animals: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. And if all of our eyes are closed and we smell smoke, the ones that's going to use their life-giving sense and say, okay, there's a fire, let's get out, they're going to be saved. But the ones that's not going to use that, they're going to be deceived. And that's kind of I think that's what's going on. People literally will see something and pretend like it's not there. Like yesterday or a couple of days ago, you guys had an argument with one guy, or not, I won't say argument, but debate, and he was pretty rude. You guys handled it much better than me. And
Thanks.
but like, he still refused to kind of see what's as clear as day there when it says that don't call me Christ. Like, don't
All
call
right.
me that. And they'll be like, no, it don't say that. And then they'll keep on.
Well,
They don't
they don't
want to
even
do
want to
it.
address it. They don't even want
They-
to think about
It's
it.
because they're
I
not
agree
genuine
with
in their
you,
search.
Tim.
They're just not genuine. Yeah, that's just what it is. That's Jesus knew all this stuff. All his
Yeah.
words resonate today.
You
After
are
I
right though, because it does. I'm sorry, go on. Go ahead. I was just going to say that it is common sense. I mean, when you start to get to this point, it's like, okay, we're just trying to think about it logically. Whereas these people are going off into all these other things and changing their minds every other week. It's like, one week you're talking about the Quran, one week you're talking about Yahweh, one week you're talking about this. But okay, and people could say something for us, because at one point in time years ago we were Torah observant, or I was.
Hmm.
But I had to go through with that to understand what I know now. I had to read all the Torah portions to see the character of Yahweh,
I
and
would
then
say
use
to
my
come
common
out of
sense.
brainwashing,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think naturally we already know what's right and wrong before they got religion into our head and got the brainwashing into our head. As a second grader, they start early. They put you in these little schools, but they're just indoctrination camps. And
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
that's the reason why the schools, they're always changing. The theories, the Big Bang theory, the evolution they keep on changing, but they're changing because it's wrong. The Father is the same always. That's what he said. He's always the same. Nothing's gonna change. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? So
I
like,
think that two Jesuses is why, though, everybody keeps arguing over things. It's like, because you can see one of them saying that he's not the Father, and you see one saying he is, and then you also see, like some people be for the law or not for the law. It's
yeah,
like you got all these arguments because you've got two voices in there talking. And so you can pick either side and you can fight it really good. It's like you can sit down and pick out which Jesus is which just from an argument.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and
it's
that's
like,
why all the arguments are
yeah.
happening. It's like, yeah, they can sit there and argue that Jesus is Jewish and he's connected to Yahweh, or you can argue this, or you can argue. It's so many different ways it can go, but it's like, yeah, there's two different ways it can go because there's two people speaking, and that's a
Yep.
very hard thing to get to people. Like, I
You
struggle
know
with
why?
it.
Because it doesn't sound. This is just a theory, of course, but I think it's not about the sound, but it's about. So you know how animals hear. You know, like you can almost say you want to go outside to your dog, but before you even finish the sentence, they already know.
Right.
They know the intent. Yeah,
Yeah.
they know
So
what
I
you're
feel
gonna
like
say.
that's how we hear the Father's voice, and everyone else is not going to hear that voice. You know, we're going to hear it the way like an animal hear. You know, and that's
So
the
I
reason
think that
why
that's
they can't.
important. I think that's important too because like I've tried to tell people this. It's like, are you asking Father? Are you talking to him? Are you asking for him to reveal something to you? And there's so many people I don't think they're even doing that. They're relying
Well, a lot of times
I
they're
think
asking God or Yahweh and don't even know
hey,
it.
and think about what Paul was saying, lean not on your own understanding, but it's like, yeah, of course he would say that. Yeah,
Hey, Tim,
don't rely on yourself. Oh, go ahead,
Tim, can you
JP.
hear me, brother? Tim?
Yeah, I can hear you.
A friend of mine years ago, he said to me, he goes, there's two Jesuses. And like, it always stuck with me. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
You
that,
know.
like,
Oh, go ahead.
no, just that's what led me here.
You
Could
know,
it be?
there were some times that I would be like laying in bed, you know, and I'll just have something on YouTube that's just talking about religion, whatever. This is back when I was a Christian, and something it would just play through the night because I'll go to sleep, and something would come on saying God is death, and I would get angry and I would turn it off. But it's like years ago, somebody was trying, and then I worked with a guy in the airport, and he told me that same thing, and I just thought he was crazy just because his views, his thought, you know, he was a vegetarian, you know. Now I'm a vegetarian, you know, but it's like people would like, it's like I think the Father has been trying to reach us for a while, you know, and
I
trying to
think so
pull us
too.
out of deception, and that's just how it goes, man. You now, you know, to have
Right.
your ears open. You know how the cats, they hear something, then their ears flip, and like now they're sideways, and keep your ears like that, nice and alert, and
I
Yeah.
keep working
appreciate
with logic, brother.
I appreciate what Artist said. Like, if you got this all in one dump, you know what I mean? You'd probably
Oh
go
yeah,
nuts.
yeah, yeah. I would
Like
have.
I was gonna
That's why
say
I
to you
denied those
earlier,
things.
like I kind of come into the Yahweh game, looking at it from the legal out here, if you will. Right, this
Explain.
whole legal game. Like I don't know how to put it. I don't want to blame, but let me say oy vey. Does that make any sense?
Same person, but pronounce it differently. The way a Chinese or a Spanish person try to say my name. My name's Tim, and they'll say "Oh, Tim," and I'm like, "No, Tim. Oh, Tim." And it matters the pronunciation because that's the reason why I'm checking her, like to make sure I can listen to her or I answer her when she calls me, and
Well,
she makes sure she don't be rude to me. You know?
no, I hear you. What I'm trying to get at, I guess, is you mentioned religion. Yeah, you recall?
Yeah.
Well, it occurs to me anymore, maybe I'm tripping out, that the religion is another engineering by those that use the term oy vey. I don't
Yeah.
want to say, I don't
Yeah.
know how this TikTok thing is, trying to filter the statement, if you will. That's all.
Oh, it's okay. You haven't said anything off
Am
the.
I
There's,
am I tripping, or is he trying to? He's trying to say basically Yahweh, just in a different form, correct?
Well, yeah, and those that worship Yahweh, right?
Uh huh.
They might like bagels and kosher things or whatever,
Uh huh.
right? Happy Jew Year, or what? How do you say that?
in the winter, in the middle of winter,
Yeah,
we celebrate the new year. Yeah.
there you go. All that. So
Where
like
things are dying,
They've
anymore,
changed everything.
where the
the
plants
whole
die.
yeah. So like it occurs to me anymore this whole religion game, if you will, and like what do you call religion, right? Money, legal, whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's father of the lie. Legal, if anybody's gone into legal a little bit, anything legal is a fiction, right? Straight up, legal fiction, right? A person, that's legal fiction, wherever you want to go with it. And then I think most on the call, they've heard of father of the lie. I mean, is that a connect, or, you know what I'm saying? So the religion, it's coming from that end too, it seems to me.
From a liar standpoint, you saying?
Well, from those that worship the father of the lie, does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Religion is so the Greek gods, the Greek mythology stuff, and the Anunnaki nonsense and stuff. Those are just those are the same fallen angels according to my research, and
Yeah. That's right.
they've been being worshipped from the beginning of time. That's the only thing that a spirit wants is worship, which is why
Yeah.
Satan,
Yeah.
tempted so and so on the mountain,
Demands
whoever.
it.
Yeah, that's all they want. They'll
Oh,
give the
yeah.
whole world up for worship because that's the only thing that's valuable to a spirit.
Tim,
Um,
it is great to have you. I
They
rarely
like
hear
to-
somebody come
so
up
They
to
like
me.
to
religion
change
is,
the names too, I'm led to believe these.
Well, yeah, because different languages came
Name
up from
changes.
Yahweh. He split the languages, so now their names were based off of titles and things. Son of this guy or guy that shoots the arrow, whatever. But that means that's pronounced differently in a different language, and that's the reason why you got the Greek story and then the Anunnaki story. But it's the same. They're just fallen gods and they still want worship. They came from spirits that made it with woman and created giants with special abilities according to my research. But these things still want worship today. And but remember, Satan's kingdom is divided, right? So that's the reason why Yahweh was fighting and had the Jews fighting against all these other nations. Who was the god of those nations? That's these other fallen gods. And Yahweh has been trying to
That's right.
unite his nation from the beginning, to unite the whole world, because it is his world. He is the most powerful God. You know what I mean? That's why his is capitalized, because he is their chief. But dang, where was I going with this? I'm sorry. Oh yeah, he that's why he goes out. He wins his wars. No one can stop him. That's why the Jews, no one can stop them.
Right.
And that's just how that's the system of the way this world works now. There is something I wanted to bring up, but I'll let you guys bring up some of your points because I can ramble.
No, I like what you're saying. Thank you. You're contributing.
Yeah,
a
that
lot.
was great.
Yeah, understanding is super important because then you can walk anywhere and you can walk in darkness and not be afraid. You can tell for this from that. I guess that comes into the point that I was going to bring up with you guys. So powers and principalities is what we were speaking of earlier, right? And would you agree that I'm gonna bring up some terms, and would you agree that they match what a power / principality is? Okay, so these terms are nature, essence, idea, principles. Let's see. I know I'm missing a few, but those are the main ones.
No, yeah, no, I get where you're going.
Spirit.
And I've heard that
Spirit.
also. Yeah, spirit. I was going to say too.
That's right.
Hey, go ahead.
And remember, they're in high places. And so if you're up high, you can see everything down the road from left, right, behind to the other side of you, right? And you can kind of cast your spell on more people. But then if you come down in the flesh, and maybe embody someone, then you can act out your nature. And so the spirits of God, God, or death, that fall under the umbrella of death, that all lead to death, is, jealousy, lust, anger, pride, gluttony, greed. Okay? These are all spirits, natures, essence, principles, ideas, philosophies. Okay? And everything, I realize that everything that's a spirit is things that's not physical in this world, but it exists still. Lust exists, and we don't see it until it's acted out. You see what I'm saying? But lust is not just sitting there on the corner, on a shelf. You know what I'm saying? And you can just pick it up.
It can envelop a person. You can take
Yeah.
over a person.
Because it's a spirit.
That's absolutely right. Yeah,
It's an
exactly.
idea. It's a mental
Exactly.
thing. and that's what spirits live,
Right.
in the mind. So um, that's what made me. So I started saying, what about spirits? What about like real angels? Not the fake term, but the real ones.
Right.
And their happiness, joy, love, light. Okay, and life is the umbrella that they fall under, and including the dark spirits, they still need life as well. Uh, they have to fall under the umbrella of life as well because they can't exist without it. You can't have anger without happiness, but you can have happiness without anger. If anyone's around, like you can flick a lighter on and put it next to a wall. You'll see a shadow of everything, your hand, the lighter, everything but the light. Because light don't really need darkness to exist, just like in the Garden of Eden or in the Father's kingdom. It's just life and life abundantly. There is no death there. There is no thorns in the bushes. There's no drawback for these good things or these side effects for these medicines. You see what I'm saying? It's all good. And that's kind of what helped me start determining or start kind of finding my way to this. Just because I'm like, okay, the nature of the Father is life. And then I started seeing evidence of it, and then scripture of it. And it's just been reinforcing my whole belief system. But the complete understanding of what a spirit is and all that stuff has just been huge to me. And I'm sorry for going on
Yeah.
so long.
No, it's okay. I really like everything you're saying. It's very similar to things I've thought about. I have never heard anybody say these things because I think about it and then it's like somebody jumps in and they're saying the same things I think about all the time.
Well, I'm glad I'm able to say it on this platform because you guys, get a lot of views and at least much more than I can get. And instead of trying to build myself up, I rather, give the message to
We
people that have a powerful voice.
we don't care about the cloud or the views or anything like that. We're just here to just say the truth. We're just here to
Exactly.
tell people about Jesus Barabba. We're here to just say these things that going on is intensively like gone through it. We're just here to talk about that with people, I guess. But it's very it's encouraging. Thanks, Tim, for talking because a lot of these things I've thought about. It's so great that you're saying what you're saying because it's helping me with things that I've gone through my mind and I don't have time to think about. Clearly, you have spent the time thinking about it.
Somebody
Yeah.
asked me once, they said, where do thoughts come from? And,
What's your answer?
well,
Yeah,
who
I don't
knows?
know.
Who knows? We're talking about spirits and things, but I guess the point when they asked the question and I asked stuff back, they were saying like, well, just because you think something, does that mean you have to use that thought, right? So like, it occurred to me that that's the filter right there. You're the filter. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, Jesus said,
and
don't put old wine in new bottles. We are bottles. And if we leave ourself, like astral project, we're leaving the door open for something else to come in. But
well, yeah, if you ask me, all that astral and whatever, to me, that's new age. That's all of that. That's
You know,
Kabbalism.
Right,
I
right.
think it's just new terms for these things, but I think they exist.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Tim.
Oh yeah,
It's
I
always
believe so
been
as
there.
well. Yeah. Ancient technology, I've heard it called.
Well, they say it's ancient. Yeah, it is ancient. And they try to present it as new.
Remember, these spirits, they try to filter out their nature, their essence through us, and so that they can accuse us, which is why they call Satan's accusers, and they're accusing us they can't accuse us to life, the Father, because he can only do good. There's no darkness in him at all. So they got to be accusing us to Yahweh. And instead of doing evil to anyone, Jesus just said, hey, I don't know you. And you just not allowed in my house. Whatever happened to you out there, that's on you. But I had the door open for you. You know what I'm saying? But they don't actually practice any evil at all. No, they're not going to be crushing people into grate or like into the wine press, and so much so that there's blood on their robes. You know what I'm saying? That's not no. That's not
Makes
life.
no sense. He came to save everybody, and then he's going to come back and you
And I'm
know,
gonna stomp most of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
mow
except
them
for very
down. It's
few.
like it doesn't
Yeah,
make any sense.
I'm gonna burn everybody up and give them plagues and do all these awful
And
things.
I'm
It's
gonna
like,
save these grapes. Yeah.
yeah, what?
Sounds
No,
like
nothing.
government.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how that's how the government works too. Because if you do something evil, they'll kill you.
Well, you got to
They'll
say
they'll repay
unalive on
evil for
here,
evil. Oh, I'm
but
sorry. Dang it.
yeah, no, no, it's okay.
I should know better.
No, I'm horrible with it.
To me, the
No,
government only has
but they will
the
unalive
government.
you if you do. If you
It's
unalive enough people or someone, they will unalive you too.
Hey Tim, it seems to me government or Yahweh, he only has authority if you grant it, if you volunteer it.
Man, and I got some big things that we could talk about on that. But if I say it on here, man, it's let's just say it could be incriminating
Yeah, you
because
got to be careful too, because I'll put this on YouTube, and I don't want it to.
Everything's going on
Yeah,
YouTube, so just be careful what you're
yeah.
saying.
But giving Caesar to what's Caesar's, I don't think
right,
we were supposed to give to Caesar what Caesar. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna
right.
say for that one, and I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah, I wonder about that myself. I agree.
Yeah. And then he said, "Give to God," which means death. What's God's? I mean, I don't know, man. I think
I
I
like
think
you,
it's telling you
Tim.
right in your face. I think they're telling you right in your face, and that's how they
I
do it
think
with the
so too.
cigarette cartons. They put the warning sign right on there, so they're not killing you now. You're killing you, but they take the label off. They're killing you. So this is the game. They put it on the food too. Nutrition facts, thiamine, this, that, all these little chemicals. Look at what they is. They all go to death, and they're telling you. You see what I'm saying? But there's no nutrition facts on
I
the
do.
potato, on something that's grown out of the earth that has life in it. You see what I'm
I
saying?
wonder. I worry about that too, though.
Yeah.
Whether when you're
Now,
buying organic, are you really even getting organic?
that's why they don't want you growing your food. They want everything to be a death practice. That's why we eat meat. That's why it's popular to eat meat in this we are killing and taking the life of something for our pleasure. Now, I'm not trying to incriminate anyone on here that's still eating meat. I don't even judge people. Okay.
Well, it's okay.
But
You get
this is
it.
the
No,
theory, you know what I'm saying?
no, and I get it. I get it.
And all the religions worship God. And just like artist said one time that Yahweh is Allah, or Allah is upside down Yahweh, and they're all just worshiping
Yeah.
Yahweh because Satan is trying to unite his kingdom here. He's been trying since the beginning.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now they got the Pope saying all these things. He's saying, "Oh, it's all uniform. It's all this and that." Yeah, of course it is. We know that it is. What Jesus
Yeah.
Barabbas said though is not uniform with that. This is why
Yeah.
we were trying to talk to the guy the other night. Jumped in and got a big
Oh, he's gonna.
following and people fans, but he's all over the place. Every time he comes in and argues something different.
It's called a web of
It-
lies for a reason, and it's called the simple truth for a reason.
Yeah, I think people are relying on themselves and they say, "Oh, I got this. Oh, you haven't studied enough. Oh, you just don't know scripture."
Oh,
It's like how much scripture do you got to know
the pride just be oozing out of
to
them.
know? Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, just
but
oozing out
how much scripture you really got to know to understand this
to
character
get
of
to the
Father and
point.
things that
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's like you only got to understand a little bit.
You don't even
Only a
need the
little.
scripture to understand what's right and
I
wrong.
agree. I agree.
So to even say how much, like when you make it a private part swinging contest, you know what I'm saying? That already shows where you are. You still on
That's
Yahweh's
what
side.
but that's what it sounded like the other night.
It did.
Private
I
part
literally
swinging
said that while I'm
contest.
listening on YouTube. I'm like, what is this?
I
What?
know. It's like, are we having a measuring contest here? Like that's what when I went and listened to it back. I said, "Goodness gracious!" I'm like, what?
You know,
What?
I used to
Okay,
be
what
an
are we
I
trying to
wanted to
apologist,
do?
say,
and I would tear people apart like that, like literally,
Well,
no
maybe you
mercy.
should come up next time.
What's
Thanks,
that,
Tim.
Vic? What did you say?
Go ahead, Vic.
well, what Tim is saying, when Child shared with me these truths, it was common sense
Yeah,
within me. I didn't need 15,000 Bible verses. I know the enemy. I know Yahweh. I know how he works. I know how he operates. But nobody ever told me, about the two Jesuses. And I said, oh, man, that's him. Well, we all know he'll have two in the end, but nobody dare say he had two in the beginning. But common sense would say to me, oh, yeah, we got two in the end. We probably had two in the beginning. And other common sense things that just, you know.
Well, if you
But
want to be
yeah,
like the Most High, you only got one example to go off of. So he has to make his own Christ too, or his own son come down, whatever. You
I
know?
have to make a counterfeit.
Yeah, he has
It's
to.
like it's
He only got
almost
one example.
mandatory. Yeah,
If
yeah.
I say I wanted to be like the best basketball player, I probably got a whole bunch of people to choose from who, in my opinion, who's the best. You know, and I can copy that. A lot of people, different people's styles. You know, but it's only
Yeah.
he only has one copy,
Yeah.
only one person to copy.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's why
Thank
he's going to give life
Counterfeits
to that
everything.
beast in the end, because he know that's the only way to get all the worship. They already saw Barabbas come, and the whole world went after him because he was healing people and raising the dead. The whole world went
Yes.
after. So now Satan's like,
Yep.
oh, okay, that's how you do it, huh? All right, I got you. So they unalived him, and now he's like, nah, I'm gonna give life to something around here. I'm gonna make it a
Yeah,
long
you got
time
it.
before they get it, and then I'm gonna come around here giving life and stuff. Oh man, they're gonna worship me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went through some verses in Mark 9 where they Mark chapter 9, and it's, to me, it's very obviously the Christ, but it's like they didn't even heal the little boy, and then they're asking him like, we didn't even do anything here, like what's going on, we don't understand. Like it's very interesting because it's a counterfeit, it's fake. It's
Yeah.
so obvious when you know that there's these two, and gosh, I want people to see it.
You
People
should
get
read that
so
to him.
argumentative.
Read that to him, Nathan.
Well, I have to drop off, and then it's like I can't read it while I'm on here.
What verse is it?
Can you pull it up? Going on, like I will read it, but
I got my Bible with me right here.
I'm sorry, going on because if I have to
I
read
have a
that, I have to
Bible.
pull the live down, and
I have a.
going on, we'll probably be able to do
Mark
it,
9?
or not. Do you want me to do it? Okay.
Oh, there
okay,
it
got
is.
She's got it. I knew she had it up. But...
She's always working.
No, I mean no. This is a big key moment. I think this Mark 9 chapter, because we're trying to differentiate, and I know people they'll get on here. Oh, which one is this? Which one is that? You know, they just go on, and it's like, okay, well, we don't know everything, and we're not claiming to know everything, but we will present what we've looked at and what we've researched. So I'm thank you, Tim, and everything you said, because you're a rare
we're on the
person.
same team, brother.
Yeah, I know. I can see that now, and I really appreciate
Yeah.
you. I appreciate your words.
You're
Thank you
you're a
so
good
much.
fit here, Tim.
I
Yeah,
literally,
absolutely. I want you to
literally
come up
coming
more.
on here, and I feel like, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to sleep earlier and then be up now, because now I can't
Same.
go to sleep.
I know I get so tired. I'm doing this, and I'm sitting here falling asleep a lot of times because I work all day, and then I get home and I gotta do the live, and I'm like, oh, I wish other people would talk. You're a good voice, man. Thank
I'll
you
definitely.
so
You
much
guys
for
come on
everything
a lot,
you said.
so you'll catch me. I'll catch you guys sometimes, and
Yes, please
if
come
not,
back
you'll
up.
find me in the YouTube comments, definitely.
Did you want me to read this, or you want to?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This is Mark 9, and this is kind of how I was looking at this, just to see, if we could pick out the two Jesuses in the text, like just flat out reading. And it's like, you really can. It's like, and he said to them, truly I say to you, there are some of those standing here who in no way shall taste death until they see the kingdom of God coming in power. Well, the kingdom of God is an earthly kingdom. It's one of the Christ, or James the Just, and Yahweh's kingdom. When you see pictures of James the Just, you see him with the rod of iron. You see him riding the white horse. You literally see him like a military type person. Okay. And the second verse, and after 6 days, Jesus takes along Peter, James, and John, and leads them to a high mount apart, alone, and he was transfigured before them. His garments became shining, very white like snow, such as a fuller on the earth is not able to whiten. Now, a fuller was a laundry service in the first century, and most people don't even know that. And Elijah with Moses was seen with them, and they were speaking with Jesus. And answering, Peter stood and said to Jesus, Rabbi. So we know immediately this had to be JC or James the Just, because James the Just was
Right.
in all the Jewish writing, he was a high priest. He went into the Holy of Holies and did all the sacrifices and stuff. He was said to be sacred from the womb, didn't drink any wine, took the Nazarene vow, all that stuff. He was a big time. They said his knees were so callous from being on his knees in the temple. And see, we're never told all this stuff about him. But it says, they said, Rabbi, and it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. For he did not know what to say, for they were fearful. Now, if this was Bar-Abba, there wouldn't have been any fear. Why would they have feared the one that was healing and doing all the good stuff? That makes no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
like if this comes out of the sky, I'm definitely not going to be afraid. I'm going to be running towards them.
And a cloud
Yeah.
was overshadowing them. That's Yahweh, because he's always showing up in the Old Testament as a thick, dark cloud.
Yeah, thick darkness.
A voice
cloud.
came out of the cloud
You're
saying, This is my son, the beloved, hear him. And he's quoting Psalms 2:7 and Deuteronomy when he says these things, so we know this has got to be Yahweh. And suddenly, having looked around, they saw no one any longer but Jesus alone with themselves. And as they were coming down from the mount, he commanded them that they should tell no one what they had saw, except when the Son of Man should rise from the dead. And they held the word to themselves, debating what it is to rise from the dead. They didn't even understand what he was saying. And we know Son of Man is not Son of the Father. It can't be the same one, because man is literally man. And they asked him, saying, Do the scribes say that Elijah must come first? And answering, he said to them, Indeed, Elijah coming first restores all things. Now it was written of the Son of Man that he would suffer many things and be despised. But I say to you, Elijah has come, and they did to him whatever they desired, even as it has been written of him. So he's saying that they already did that, and Elijah's already come. And coming to his disciples, he saw a great crowd around them, and the scribes arguing with him. And at once the crowd, seeing him, were greatly amazed, and running up they greeted him. And he questioned the scribes, What are you arguing with them? And one answered out of the crowd, saying, Teacher, I brought my son to you, having a dumb spirit. Now we know that Yahweh says in the Old Testament, is a person not blind, deaf, or dumb? Have I not done it? So we got to get the gist of who's done it, And whenever it seizes him, it dashes him. He foams and gnashes his teeth, and he wastes away. And I told your disciples that they might expel it, and they were not able. And answering them, he said, O unbelieving generation, how long will I be with you? How long shall I endure you? Bring him to me. And it said, that's just that haughty attitude. That's not the loving Jesus that everybody was brought to.
Right.
We're
I
seeing
see
some
that today.
impatience.
And they brought him to him, and seeing him, the spirit immediately convulsed him. So the minute that he was seen, he started convulsing again. And falling on the ground, he wallowed foaming, and he questioned his father, how long time is it while this has happened to him? And he said, from childhood. So he's asking how long he's been doing this. And often it threw him into both the fire and the water, that it might destroy him. And that's Yahweh's MO too. He's always throwing people in the fire and water. But if you are able to do anything, help us, having pity on us. And Jesus said to him, If you are able to believe, all things are possible to the ones believing. And immediately crying out, the father of the child said in tears, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. And seeing that the crowd is running together, Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, dumb and deaf spirit, I command you, come out of him, and you may no more go into him. And crying out and convulsing him very much, he came out, and he became as if dead. So, as for many to say that he had died. So a lot of people thought the boy was dead. But taking hold of his hand, Jesus raised him up, and he stood up. He entered into the house. His disciples were questioning him privately. Why were we not able to cast it out? And he said to them, this kind can only go out by nothing except prayer and fasting. So did he literally do that or not? You see what I mean?
Point.
Nope.
Yeah.
And going forth from there, they passed by through Galilee, and he desired no one know. He didn't want anybody to know about this. For he taught his disciples and said to them, Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of men, and they will kill him, and they will unalive him, and being unalived, he will rise on the third day. But they didn't know that the word. They didn't know the word, and they feared to question him. They were afraid of him. And they came to Capernaum, and having come into the house, he questioned them, Why are you disputing for yourselves in this way? And they were silent, for they argued with one another in the way as to who was greater. And sitting, he called the 12 and said to them, If anyone desire to be first, he shall be last of all and servant of all. So if anybody wants to be elevated, they're going to be the servant. And taking a child, he set it in their midst, and having embraced it, he said to them, Whoever receives one such child in my name receives me. Whoever receives me does not receive me, but the one having sent me. And John answered him, saying, Teacher, we saw someone casting out demons, and therefore among them your name, who does not follow us. And we forbade him, probably because he does not follow us. And see, it was probably part Abba, because it was saying it's like the same name.
Right. It's the same name.
But Jesus said, Do not forbid him, for there is no one who shall do a work of power in my name, yet be able to speak evil of me quickly. So that's a weird statement in itself right there, to be able to speak evil. For who is not against us is for us. For whoever gives you a cup of cold water to drink in my name, because you are of Christ, truly I say to you, in no way will he lose his reward. And whosoever causes one of these little ones that believe in me to offend, it is good for him rather a millstone be laid around his neck, and he be thrown in the sea. And
Right.
if you're...
And they always use that verse too.
It's a threat.
You know, a lot of times they're going to bring up the little child thing with the millstone. But it's this is the Christ saying these things.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, if your hand offend you, cut it off, for it is profitable for you to enter into life maimed, than having two hands to go away into hell, into the unquenchable fire, and where their worm does not die and the fire is not put out. And if your foot causes you to offend you, cut it off, for it is profitable for you to enter into life maimed, than having 2 feet, and to be thrown into hell, into the unquenchable fire, where the worm doesn't die, and the fire is not quenched. If your eye offends you, cast it out, for it is profitable for you to enter into the kingdom of God, one-eyed, than having 2 eyes, and be thrown in the hell of fire, where the worm does not die, and the fire is not quenched. And see, he's quoting from Isaiah 66:24. And that's all stuff from Yahweh. For everyone will be salted with fire, and every sacrifice will be salted with salt. Now, this statement, check this out. Salt is good. If the salt becomes saltless, by what will you season? Have salt in yourselves and be at peace with one another. In other words, I want you salty. This is, I mean,
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
it's just
I'm
crazy.
noticing that all of this stuff is not speaking of heavenly things so far.
Yes, right.
Yeah, that's all the earthly stuff too. It's like, and he
Yeah.
said the one from earth speaks of earthly things, and the one from heaven speaks of the heavenly things. So he's given us a clue right there, as to which one is which.
I know that you've researched. I know that you watch these things, because if you can even say that after all of that, it's that is the perfect thing to say.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you.
That's yeah, man. Boy, if that didn't sorry, my connection.
That's okay.
Depressing, if you ask me.
It is a little, yeah. I mean, but it is.
No
It is
doubt
what
the
it
words
is.
of
We're
the
living
bloody
in the
one.
place that we're living in. Yeah, the bloody one. Demand blood sacrifice again. Goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
I need to
mean, he's
analyze
cutting
that
off
whole
your
chapter.
hand, and
That would be awesome.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think
that
there's
was
Jesus
awesome.
is in the same chapter, because
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
it'll
There
say
is.
something like on the next
Oh,
day,
yes.
and then I think that sometimes
Yeah.
they're talking to
Right.
it,
Right.
but it's hard to distinguish.
It
But that's why you got to
is,
know about
and
it fruits,
people want to get in and nail us down on these things, and okay, well, how many people does it take to get through and analyze all these scriptures? I mean, it's going to take forever. You need a team of people to do it.
When those people do that, because it's happened to me, and of course it happened to all of us, honestly. Anyone that's trying to be zealous for the kingdom, at some point we were teaching the wrong thing, and
Yeah.
so people will come with questions, and when you're teaching the wrong thing, at some point you're wrong. You can't be undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Even with the
Yeah.
right argument, sometimes you can't be undefeated. You got to know all the right stuff first, and you just don't. We don't know what we don't know yet.
Yeah, and that's why we're trying to
Exactly.
pour through it, and we're very appreciative going on her studiousness.
Those people help us
Tim,
by challenging us, because sometimes I'll think I have enough info and I'll stop studying. And now my blade is getting nice and dull. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And someone to
same
come
for
with
me.
some hard questions, and then I wish my blade was sharper at that time. I could slice through that thing, but
Yeah, me too.
so it keep us on our toes. Like, you got to do twice, 3 times as much learning as you do teaching to stay genuine.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. And Tim, you have a YouTube channel?
I mean, I just use it for entertainment, basically. I've tried to upload some things here and there, but it's
Same,
like
same.
old stuff that was wrong teaching. I deleted it recently just because I didn't want you guys to get the wrong idea of me. If you guys was to, because I comment a lot on
No,
your
it's
channel.
okay.
So.
You're talking now. You're speaking now. I can see what you're about. It's great to hear what you're saying. Thank you.
Oh man, no, thank you. Because like you said you feel like I belong here. I tried to
do.
go to
I
church
do.
before, and I never felt at home like I
Me
do now.
neither.
Like right now, I feel at home. There's people with the same ideas, philosophies,
Yeah.
nature, essence, whatever you want to call it, here in this channel. And I'm appreciative.
Yeah, it took us. It took me forever, and we didn't have anybody. We going on. We'll tell you, we've been through this. We've been going about it for about 4 or 5 years. There were not many people that were listening. Not many.
You put
people
the
were
work in.
listening.
You
Well,
put
she
the work
did.
in.
But
Oh, well, you guys,
yeah.
yeah. But artists, definitely, yes.
We've been here with her. We've been looking through it with her and trying to do the best that we can do.
That's why I love the Discord. We can get in Discord chat and discuss all of it and stuff. It's really fun. It's really
Right.
nice. It's
Yeah, I'm going to
because
try
for a
to
long
get that
time I
too.
was by myself. It was just me, and now it feels more like a we, which is really nice. It's very nice.
You are not alone.
Thank you.
We are few and far between, but you got family.
You're definitely loved in here.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for contributing because it's most people do not they're not able to speak like you can and understand what's even being said.
But there's other places too we can see this big contrast. Like, you got one saying don't take an oath, not even by the temple of God, or nothing. It's like,
Yeah.
then the other one is up in the upper room doing a blood covenant oath with them, and it's like an oath is swearing an oath is a covenant. People don't realize that there is no old and new covenant
Yeah,
with Jesus. Jesus just just believe me. He said, they'll know you're my disciples if you love one another. That was his
'cause that's
main message, you know.
I love it. If you haven't noticed an oath or a covenant, what does that lead to? Let's say you break it. What happens next? Eventually, it leads to death.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's how he operates. He'll give you, it's yin and yang. That's how yin and yang is. A little bit of light to draw you in, a little bit of truth to draw you in, a little bit of good to draw you in, and then you get darkness, evil, and whatever the other one is that that I brought up. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
just
old
how it
bait and
works.
switch.
Yeah, because you can't. So if a
Yeah.
con man is coming to you trying to trick you, if he just lied to you off rip, hey, I'm 6'7", and you could see him and he's 5'11", you're like, okay, I'm already not believing anything this guy says. He got to start off with some kind of. He got to be believable at first, at some point.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
that's just how you get
Bait
people.
and
They're not going to
switch.
come willingly. Yeah.
So I was a Baptist preacher for many years, and I know all about this. This bait and switch. I'm ashamed to say it, but that's how I operated in my little Sunday
Because that's how
sermons.
you quote
You know?
unquote win souls, right?
Yeah. The soul winning.
That's what they do. That's what they talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then you get them down there and you scare them with hell and everything. Well, who isn't
Using
going to
fear.
run down there and fear tactics. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I hate to even talk about it. I'm so ashamed of it.
And there's a lot of
But
good that comes out of the churches some too, though. I mean, it's like, you know,
uh,
you're like, I know one lady that's been going to church all her life in my hometown, and she was always there for everybody that needed help. Always there. They needed food. She'd go out in her garden at 4 o'clock in the morning for work and pick them some food and bring it. It's like, but at the same time, you just wish you could reach out to them and they could know the truth. It's
Right.
like,
I think the
And there's a
Satan.
lot of people I see that um
Intent, intentions are good. I mean,
There you go.
yeah, because we see a lot of people that are in the churches and you can clearly see that they're emulating this character of Father Jesus that we're talking
Yeah,
about.
they have a
And
different nature than the church.
right. And so they're
I
getting the
was.
message still.
by the time
I mean,
I got all this knowledge and knew it. It's like she had Alzheimer's and I couldn't really explain it to her because she was too confused to understand. And I felt
See,
really bad.
well, see, and I believe, and I can almost say no. That see again, life is in everybody, so he understands our intentions. He understands where our heart was, and that's why he said that Yahweh is not going to be able to get them out of my hand. The ones that
right.
are mine. And that's why even if they go into a church, because we've all come from a church at some point.
Yeah.
She's just honestly seeking. She got to go through that mud to get to the, you know what I'm saying, to get to the garden.
And
But that's just,
you know how you said nobody could snatch them out of my hand? It's like
mm-hmm.
that word is harpazo. It's the same
Yeah,
one. And then
rapture.
Paul, when he says that, he said they're caught up in the harpazo to the Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
that's
a
another
And
thing I want to talk to y'all
contrast.
about too. Because there's two raptures that I see in Revelations, two separate ones. But but no, that lady, she had the nature that the creator or that life is emulating. And I think that the reason why he says he can't snatch them out of my hand is because that's what that's what churches and stuff is here for, to turn people into materialistic people, to you know what I'm saying, like to make them worship Yahweh, because church is all about money mostly, you know and I think they're trying to change your character. You know, they're trying to put that little bait in front of your face and make you change your character. But I think that lady didn't change her character. I don't think Yahweh snatched her out of Barabbas' hand if she
I
still
don't think he could
maintained her
either.
nature.
I really don't,
Yeah,
because she loved everybody. I mean,
yeah. I think there's people in other religions that participate in those things, or at least go, that are good people. No, if I
Because I've
didn't think
seen
so,
it.
then
I've seen
I'd
it.
call
I've seen the
myself a bad person.
character.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not perfect. I do tons of things not right.
Oh
But
yeah.
I definitely have seen this character of father with people that don't even understand what we're talking about. So it's got to be there.
That's the reason
A
why I
lot
think
of
atheists be kind of close to the truth, because I've seen atheists that's just beautiful people. You know,
I
they
have
just care
too,
about raising plants, raising animals, and and that they won't harm a fly.
right? They're seeing it from a different perspective. It's just that it's that personal. I think Father, yeah, I have to agree with you. I think Father instills these things with us when we're here and we're put into this place, and we can choose evil.
Hmm. And Jesus
But
says
there's
that. He
just
said, "You
always there's
chose."
this calling, like it's like, oh, it's wrong, oh, it's not right, oh.
It's
It's
called a
like my friend's
conscience.
this, yeah, my friend is a Satanist. He talked to me the other night, last night, and I could tell he's like, oh man, all these things I'm doing, it's not right, it's not good, and I'm like, I'm trying to tell you this. I've been trying to tell you this for years, but it's like some people are slower to see it than others.
right.
And that's okay, because another synonym for life is destiny. And I think
Hmm.
that everything's gonna play out the way he wants it to. And I know that's gonna rub some people the wrong way, because I have a guy that he'll come to my job and he'll question me for hours. I mean, like, I'm working and this guy's just talking to me like for 3 hours. He'll wait for customers and all to be done, but then he's right back over like, so what about this then? And how could you justify this and that? And he always say, why is he letting this stuff go on? And
They always say that.
yeah.
But they gotta understand who's the God of this world, what you live in, what's the construct in which you live in.
Well, I tell him he's not letting it. If you can choose life every time, you can
Yeah,
choose to do the right thing every time. And if someone with a bad character is coming to you and trying to say, hey, worship me, let me be your God, or else, you already know that's not even worth worshiping. Because he's saying or else already. You see what I'm saying?
exactly.
Right.
Like the
So,
other night.
so yeah, I mean, I think
What
people just
I'm
got the
telling
wrong
you is
Or
idea.
else
what
you're
I'm
going to
telling
get
you.
I'm sorry.
you're going to get the blowtorch if not. No.
If you don't come worship me, yeah. Well, Jesus just, if anyone didn't want to come to him, he didn't, he said he didn't even judge the lady, you know? He said, neither do I condemn you. I don't think the judge is life or the son of life. I think judge is Yahweh, and he's going to judge people.
Absolutely.
And I think Satan is working with Yah, or the accuser, whatever you want to call it. They work together. There's someone that's going to accuse him to Yahweh, and Yahweh's going to punish him. And that's what Revelations is about. I want to say, are we allowed to check that out? I don't want to bring us too off topic.
I agree. I'm with you on it. I think it's Yahweh's coming back. It's clear to me, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, King of King, Lord of Lords, that's Yahweh in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
I want to say
Revelation, I think it's the
Revelations
revealing
14.
of the Christ.
Yeah, but
That's why
even though this
John's
whole book
scared.
is
He's fearful.
this whole book is Yahweh's glorification, right? But when you get to the part
Right.
where the hero comes, or where his enemy comes, Yahweh's enemy, you get a small glimpse of the good guy from the evil guy's point of view. You see what I'm saying? Which is
Yeah.
why we're all
Yeah.
deceived, and why there's only a little bit about the real or the Son of Life in this book. And not a whole, because they said all the things that he did, they wouldn't even be able to put it in all the books. They won't be able to fit it in all the books. So we should have a lot more information on the real one than we have right
should.
here.
But we don't,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
but we
because we
don't.
live in Yahweh's world.
Yeah, and this is Yahweh's book. They glorify him. But so Revelations 14, I want to say it is, right? Where they talk about the one coming out of the clouds, and they're about to do a rapture. I want to say it's Revelations 14. Hmm. I might be wrong. I don't know. Let me see.
I
I'm
have to
sorry.
look at it. I have to look at it.
I'm looking now. I'm searching for it now at least. Okay, I think it is 14:14. If you want, I can read it.
Go ahead.
Okay, it says, "And I looked, and I saw a white cloud, and sitting on the cloud was one like the son of Adam, or the son of man." And I guess that's a reference to Daniel 7:13. So this is Christ, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another messenger came out of the dwelling place, crying with a loud voice to the one sitting on the cloud. So to the Christ, right? And he said, "Send your sickle and reap, because the hour has come for you to reap, because the harvest of the earth is ripe." So I know Matthew 24, they talk about him coming in the clouds, and he's saying he's going to come in the clouds and gather us up. So I will argue with people about if the rapture is real or whatever using these verses. Jesus said it, and I don't know which Jesus, but Jesus said it, and then here it is. It's happening. He's in the clouds right now. And it says, "And the one sitting on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another messenger," and if you know that it's Yahweh's, these are demons here. "So a demon came out of the dwelling place, which is in heaven, and he too held a sharp sickle. And another messenger came out from the slaughter place, having authority over the fire, and he cried with a loud cry to him having the sharp sickle, saying, Send your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, because her grapes are ripe. And the messenger thrust his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God," or Elohim, it says here, but God, right? "The wrath of death. And the winepress was trodden outside the city, and blood came out of the winepress up to the bridles of the horses for about 1,600 stadia." So that was one of them, right? Let me see. Oh no, that was two of them. Let me see. Another messenger came out. Yeah, first they on verse 15 or 16 through 17, it says, "And the one sitting on the cloud thrust his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped." Right? So they already,
Yeah.
the rapture happened. And then it says, "Now another messenger came out." And then he did the same thing, and it got not the grapes, but the clusters.
Oh.
You see? And it says the cluster because her grapes are ripe. But the first one didn't say like her or anything like that. And
Right.
her could be that Jezebel spirit, whatever they talk, So that's what, that's just my question,
No,
I guess,
it's
about
good. It's
Revelation
good.
14:14.
You said it all perfectly.
I wonder though, I mean, it's just, what does Matthew 24 say about it? Is that Christ, or is that Barabbas in Matthew 24? Or that part of Matthew 24, And I think that'll give us more insight, because it said that the Christ one
Right.
threw his sickle in the earth and it was reaped. And they don't tell you anything that happened to those people. It just said it was reaped. And then it says that another one came and put his sickle in the earth, and the earth was reaped of the clusters, and then they got killed, and blood came out and they got destroyed.
Very
That
interesting.
could also be
unalive.
symbolic of what we just saw too, though. This is when I was researching that. Oh shoot! This guy right here, his name literally means "praiseworthy crown of the sickle."
Oh,
Yeah, and sickle in Latin can also mean syringe,
oh,
and it's a golden crown is a corona in Latin.
so you think maybe that
He could have
the
been
jab was
maybe, yeah, because it says all the
was
nations
one
were
of the angels
deceived
sick?
by. It says, and the light of the lamp will shine in her no more, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride will be heard in her no more. And your merchants were the great ones of the earth, and all the nations were deceived by your sorcery, which is the pharmakia, and it means the employment of a, you know, for any
Of a
purpose. Yeah, I can't say that on here; it'll get me bopped.
oh, okay.
But
Yeah, that's the reason why there's two snakes going up a pole for their symbol.
his mother was Eugenia Abyss, and it means the gene from the abyss. Her name.
From the abyss?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, and then his name means praiseworthy crown of the sickle, or the syringe. Yeah, he's from Sicily.
What's this guy? Oh, Fauci. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
that's him.
Man, that all makes sense. Did you know that in Hebrew, Barack Obama is his name means lightning from heaven, and Jesus
Yep.
said, "Don't laugh, because I beheld Satan fall like Barack Obama."
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, we know that. Yeah, it's wild that you do too.
But
God,
that's, if you look,
it's
there's
crazy.
that's the part I couldn't read. I can't get it to go where you can see
Someone
it. Yeah.
Humbum Smitty said he has a question too.
Okay.
I barely look at my phone when I'm in the
He
comments.
wanted
But
to come up. If somebody wants to drop down,
I'll drop off.
Yeah, let's bring him up. Let's just.
I was gonna say I don't mind dropping
He wanted
off.
to talk. No. Stay up, Tim. Stay up. I want where is he though?
Can y'all read that? Maybe.
I can.
Because I couldn't say those words because they'll get me popped off of here. Pretty
I
interesting, though.
accepted him.
Yeah.
I can probably get it where I can get it up in the higher.
So that means we're this far in Revelations at least 14 and on.
Yeah, we're deeper into it
Oh,
now
shoot.
at that point. Yeah. Hello, Smitty. You're up.
There we go. Let's see if that.
That point. Hello, Smitty.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I
There.
can.
You can hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay, I got a question on the names here. Okay, and it says in John 3:16 that the Father, well, it says God, but I believe the Father. The Father so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, who should ever believe in him. And now in 18, he who believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten. It says Son of God, but that would be Barabbas, wouldn't that?
I don't
Right.
know.
That would be Barabbas. So, so this Jesus name that they're throwing around it's not right. The Barabbas is his name. I got one question. Can somebody give me one verse where anybody in the Bible, the disciples or crowds or anybody, calls Jesus, the Barabbas Jesus, but the writer of the book? There's
Yeah, I
only
mean,
the only person
that's
that says Jesus is who's writing the book. Nobody in the
yeah.
Bible ever calls Jesus Jesus. Or am I
Well,
wrong?
I
Or
mean,
Before we
even
get too
if
past that last section, hang on just a second. Before we
okay,
get too past that, I want to just make one comment because I don't want anybody freaking out if you did take that jab. Because I found a verse that did say that, don't think I won't forgive you for that. Okay? So
yes,
that was a lie from the serpent. So don't think that he isn't forgiven of that, because I don't
Right,
want
right.
anybody to take that. That's one reason I haven't done a video on this, because it's like I don't want anybody freaking out, because he said there was only one unforgivable sin, and it's not that.
all
Okay,
he
I'm
can
Very
do
sorry.
is
good.
heal and forgive. So to think that he's unable to heal or forgive from that is silly.
Right. I just wanted to make that clear because I don't want anybody to freak out,
That's right.
you know.
That's right. Yeah.
I
We
heard
want
that
people to know
half of
that.
them were
Okay, I'm sorry, Humbug.
nothing but
I just thought of that, and I didn't want anybody to, to get upset about it.
Listen, if
so
you
half
stole
of
my
them were
car and you put
saline
your name on it,
solution.
I'm still coming to take it back. It's
so
still
that
mine.
verse tells you that the begotten Son, his name is Barabbas. Does it not?
Well, only
That's what.
begotten is monogenetic. It means from one gene.
The name of the begotten, yeah. So, but Son of God is Son of the Father, is it not? So it's Barabbas, huh?
Yeah.
Only begotten, yeah. A monogene, monogenetic, that would be from one gene. Yeah, not born of a woman, that is the son of the Father.
So so they're saying that the son's name is Barabbas. Is there any verse in the Bible that one of the disciples or somebody in the crowd or the Pharisees or scribes or the Romans ever called the son of the Father Barabbas Jesus? The only one that calls the son of the Father Jesus is the one who's writing the book. Am I not right? The author of the book is the only one that calls Barabbas Jesus.
That in Google.
Oh, in Oregon, one of the early church guys, he said that they changed the name from Jesus Bar Abba to Jesus, just to Jesus.
See, so I mean, and I think that's what's catching so many people off guard is because they took the Barabbas and threw the name Jesus in front of it and called him a robber and a thief, because that's what he was to the Pharisees and scribes, because he was stealing the people from the synagogues. So they threw that name on him to make him human, and then they took the Christ consciousness is supposed to come in the world, slapped the name out of that, and then stole the son's name, the Barabbas's title as son, and stuck it on Yahweh's son, Jesus Christ, the son of Yahweh.
Well, I know in John where it says that he was a robber, they dropped a negating particle in front of that. John literally said he was not a robber. Yeah, in the Greek.
Because I love the Barabbas. I mean, because I know in my heart that Barabbas is the son of the true Father, which is spirit, and you should worship in spirit and truth. He don't need no temple. He don't need no hands to worship him. You worship him in spirit and truth. The Bible says that.
Oh, that's right.
But if they would take that, I mean, I wanted to rewrite the Bible and take all the God's words out of it and put the Father and where it's supposed to be, and Barabbas where it's supposed to be. But I know. I've read this. I've read this a million times. I mean, they changed it from the 1517 Bible to the 1611 Bible. Now this new Bible, all three of them's changed. Why can't we change it back? Why can't we have the original writings, manuscripts?
What I've noticed is you don't have to differentiate between the Lord, like when it's talking about Yahweh, because they don't ever speak about the Father until when Jesus comes, and Jesus used the word Father.
Yeah, Jesus only prayed to the Father.
Yeah.
He never prayed to no God.
Jesus, you'll have to differentiate, and I think with the word God, you have to differentiate between God and life. That's how I've been reading it and how I've been seeing it, because life is like a title that belongs to multiple personalities that is in union. You know how he said him and the Father is one. Together they are life. The Father is eternal life, and the Son is the Son of life. Anything that the Father has, the Son has.
And they're both spirit.
Yes. Well, I mean, yes, but he came he came still. Just because there's people that argue.
Look at the true Barabbas, when he was in the synagogues, when they wanted to lay hands on him or throw stones at him, he disappeared like 3 times, and they eluded him. So there's clearly a physical God or a physical Barabbas and a physical or a spiritual Barabbas and a physical Jesus being spoken there. If one's been able to disappear and go, and be
between walls and stuff, because there's one resurrection or one revealing after he was resurrected. I'm sure they have an account for the fake one as well, but the real one I think is the one that appeared when even though they had all the doors shut and he just appeared out of nowhere. I want to say maybe that's the real one. I don't know.
Yeah, because Jesus said the one that doesn't enter by the door. Remember that verse about something about not entering by the door?
Yeah.
See, and people so used to because that name of Jesus is programmed into the brain. You know, and when it says that my people will know me, you know, when I come or they come, that we'll automatically know him, you know, but it won't be by his name.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think Jesus ever said stuff like, by my name, but he said my sheep will know me by my voice every time. And I think
Yeah.
he kept saying that because they're gonna mess with the name, and he knew that.
See, he never used the name of Jesus. Nobody ever called the Barabbas Jesus. Nobody, I
That's
mean,
why when
never.
I pray, I kind of pray by titles, like
Yeah.
you know, in the name of the Son, or, stuff like that, the Son of Life, but yeah.
I wonder if it wasn't a title too, because in Spanish it means savior, and in French it means I am. It would be like you'd be announcing who he was, like I am Barabbas or I am the Christ, or you know.
Mm.
It makes me wonder if they didn't just take and like, you
What
know.
what is this old Bible? What year is that? The oldest Bible?
That's out of my expertise
The
there.
Knox, I think, is the oldest one, and
Be-
it was translated from the Latin.
because I've heard of it 3 times before that we've battled against uh, princes and kings and priests instead of princes of darkness, and
Yeah, in the
you know,
Geneva, that's what it says. Yeah.
yeah, Geneva, yeah.
I think
All right,
that's
I'm
the
gonna check
powerless
it
part.
because I
Yeah.
ordered a 16. I got that 11 book, but you know, if it's going back further,
I think you can find the truth in any of them.
yeah. But I mean, you know, I mean, eventually everybody's going to have a chance, but I mean, maybe it's going to be too late with the jab, you know, because that nanotechnology that's in it, you know, and people ain't paying attention how to get it out of their system.
I don't even think there's maybe there might not be a way, but I think
There,
if they already latched onto this truth, I think that Jesus won't let them go out of his hands.
Yeah, I think so too.
you mean Barabbas?
Well, yeah, Barabbas, yes.
Well, I
Yeah,
We
don't
don't
know
give glory to the
Son
other.
of the Father. Yeah.
because it's because they're saying what it's doing is eating the energy, and it's in your body, and it's got a plastic polymer that you're absorbing too. And it goes throughout your body. I got a microscope. I bought a nice microscope and stuff. I'm on Facebook, Lauren Smith, and I got all my pictures of it, you know. But it's going throughout your body, and the plastic polymers that's in the drinking water and in the food that you're eating, all the plastics. It's
Hmm.
connecting all these technologies in your body together with this plastic polymer, and it's supposed to absorb the spirit, send it to the cloud.
I have an
Yeah.
old Instagram page where I still, I mean, it's kind of a mix between when I was a Christian and when I was a Israelite. But it's a lot of truth on that page, and it's nothing. None of it is about the views of those, of the religion. It's all about real world conspiracies. It's a conspiracy page, and so they got this black stuff that's sitting next to a phone, and it just looked like kind of like hair, kind of, but a little harder. And when they make a phone call, the black stuff starts moving on its own. Now
That's
that's supposed to
graphene.
be it's supposed to be the stuff that was in the jab. Apparently, the black
Yeah,
is like a black matter.
yeah, it's
Is what they was
graphene
calling it.
oxide.
Yeah. So and that's what they want to control us with the cell phones,
Yeah.
or with technology. And I think remember, life is in all creatures. Yahweh is death, and He wants to be like the Most High, which is in all creatures. So the only way to get Yahweh inside of all creatures, in order to mimic being like the Most High, is or to be omnipresent, right? The only way He can actually do that is by manually putting His spirit in us, or being able to control us through the airways, through technology. You know,
Yeah.
but that's that's the only thing that makes sense to me. And I think that's the reason why people, how a lot of people are going to get deceived. But I think, I don't know how to put this without. I think some of the people they're gonna get brought into captivity, like the Revelation says. Some are gonna get destroyed by calamities that's gonna go on, and some are going to be the one that's unalive by getting their tops taken off. If because those are like the three different categories of people in Revelations, correct? And I think some of that's going to happen to people that have gotten it, people that have not gotten it, whatever. But they might have to go through some of these things because of it before they get controlled. You know what I'm saying? But I really think it's how they're trying to make zombies come about, which is why they show us movies of zombies all the time. Because you'll be kind of like a cell phone with no batteries, but you got it always plugged to the charger though. So you can use it as long as you're plugged in.
Okay, now here's what everybody's finding on this stuff. With the when it first started out and people got the shot, it used all the metals up that when they were spraying in the air and people were breathing and eating and all the aluminum and stuff, and it was shedding from the vaxxed to the unvaxxed. So, and they called it the spike protein. Spike protein's a lie. It's shedding. So my dog has got it. I tested his blood, and he's got it. I can see the self-assembling nanotechnology in my dog.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not. So it's just the
all
fact
flesh
that
is going to be corrupt,
the only thing
just like
that
back in Noah's days.
yeah, that's what Noah's Ark is getting all the DNAs together.
Yeah,
and putting them
because
on
it's
the
all
ark.
flesh. Yeah, and I think that's animals too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It would be
it
nowhere
doesn't.
for us to run.
So the only thing that you took a chance on is getting the shot. Is you had a better chance of being harmed, infected, or died.
Yeah, I don't really want to stay on this topic though,
Okay,
guys,
yeah.
because
I'm
it can
sorry.
get me
All right.
kicked off here. But what I'm probably going to do is call it here because we've been on about 2.5 hours, and then pick back up tomorrow night if that's good for everybody else too.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'm fading myself. So.
Yeah, I'm getting tired.
Yeah. I'm
Appreciate
good
you
with
guys
that.
listening to me. Hear me out.
Oh yeah, we're happy to have you here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for talking.
And so I know I contributed some for us to get off track, but I appreciate you guys listening to
Tim,
me as well.
please come back, Tim. I really appreciate you. I enjoyed you very much.
Yeah,
I will.
everybody's conversations were awesome. Thanks for everybody that helped me tonight. And because it takes all of us to do this, really, not just me. But I really appreciate it. And I love all the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you for providing the
everyone.
platform. Shoot.
It was
One
really
of the
good.
better
Come back
lives
and-
I've been on.
Come back, Tim, and see us. It was really good. You added a lot to the panel.
Please, Tim,
Thank you. I will.
join Discord and join with us. Like I really appreciate everything you're saying. I think you'd be a great asset.
Yeah, you guys. The
No
Discord
doubt.
is on the channel, right? I'm not too tech savvy, but I can manage.
Eileen can send you an invite. Please, Eileen, send him the invite.
Okay, cool.
Do you have the app, Tim? You have to have the Discord app. Do you have the app?
I'm gonna download it before I accept the invite.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have a good evening. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you.
Good
night,
night.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.